Has there been any interest in terms of international call-ups or you want to speak on that?
Yeah, I was called up to play or go to the camp in Portugal a few months ago
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the U-20, which is massive for me because I never even been called up to any camps for the national team. So to be called to a camp in Portugal was just insane.
Yeah.
And and obviously the whole pandemic came up, so I ended up just staying here. Um, but who knows? Maybe in the future, something happens with that.
No, for sure, man. If you keep playing the way you're playing, man, I'm sure many more will come.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
What do you
Hopefully,
call it? Are your parents are Mexican?
Mexican. Yeah.
Would you ever think of playing for the Mexican team, or is that not a thought in your mind?
Nah, I've supported Mexico.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, well, I think lately I've been leaning towards more U.S., but
yeah,
I've always supported Mexico when they would play against each other because my obviously my mom, my dad are Mexican. They're born in Mexico, and my first language was Spanish, so I've always just been a big Mexico fan. Um, but I really like both national teams right now. So
What would you
if it,
do? What would you do if it not now, but let's say you get to the point where it's now full national teams and you have a decision to make. Where you going?
that's tough, bro. Uh, I'd probably lean towards US. I think because
Yeah,
I'm more familiar with some of the players in the national team.
yeah, yeah.
I haven't I haven't heard too much of some of the players in the Mexican national team, but I'd probably lean towards US, and just because the move the US national team is making right now with players going to Europe and all that good stuff. So
For sure. So
yeah,
what's your ultimate dream? Where would you want to play at?
ultimate dream like
You could if
above
yeah,
I, like well, obviously my dream has always been to play for the biggest team in the world, or like a Real Madrid or like a United would be insane, but you got to work for that. Dortmund's obviously a really good team for like really young kids who they like say Gio Reyna and Pulisic.
yeah, yeah.
They give but any big team, bro, I'd be blessed to play.
For sure. How did you get the invitation to the camp? Like, did it come by email? Did you get a call? Like, what happened?
Um, how did that happen? Oh, it was my game against. I think it was my game against FC Dallas in preseason.
Oh yeah,
I had a really good game. I remember, and beforehand, Coach Nick had told me, that the national team coach is going to be here watching. Um, so I was like, damn, I had to, yeah, I just pretend like nothing, it's just another game.
yeah, yeah. For sure.
Um, and so I did really well, and I think it was a week later I received an email from the manager, I think for the U20 national team, and he said I've been invited to the U20 camp in Portugal. And so as soon as I saw that, I showed my mom, my dad, and my mom. She was just kind of like, "Oh wow, that's good." I'm like, "That's it." Like, so
Bro,
now, oh, she was like, "Oh, nice, yeah." I'm like, "Okay," but nah, I was just really happy because you're included as one of the best young players in the nation, which is really big for me. Because like I said before, like I've never been invited to anything like that, so it was definitely a big moment for me.
for sure. Do you think like your progress has been like very like linear? Has everything like come like mad fast? Like you haven't had really much time to process it all, or you think like it's all happened in good spacing?
I think it's all happening in good spacing. Especially, I mean, last season it was really good for me. 17 years old, getting good minutes in the USL. Um, but this season, I think everything's, uh, it's just getting better and better every year.
Yeah,
And it's I just blessed to be in this situation I am because a lot of players my age don't get this opportunity. So I'm just trying to take advantage of it and you know reach my goals.
Yeah, for sure, man. Grasp it with both hands and run as fast as you can.
Yeah, bro.
Um,
No, that
so if let's talk about more like advice. Like who would be the first person you'd talk to about if you need any piece of advice?
um my brother. I go to my brother, or I just talk to Coach Juan or Coach Nick on
Okay,
the team. I've known them since a really young age, so from our if I ever need advice or anything, I'd go straight to them.
for sure. How do you deal with criticism?
Criticism, I just kind of brush it off. You
Yeah,
know what you know what you stand for. You know what you can do, and if you don't, doesn't matter what anybody says because they don't know the facts. So you just keep pushing and doing your own thing.
like how you been dealing with? I call it the hype, but you can call it whatever you want. How are you dealing with the hype and being at the forefront of everything? How are you keeping yourself level in order to keep performing?
Um, I mean, there recently there has been a lot of hype, but I've just been true to my game, play the way I've always played, and because you usually when the kid gets that much hype, you have a certain expectation, and so you just stay grounded and they say these things like outside the field, but you just do on the field and keep working. The player, my teammates also they keep me level headed and tell me what to do moving forward.
For sure, man. That's good. How do you deal with not playing when you think you should be playing?
Um, it's
Everyone always
tough.
asks this one, you
It's
know.
tough. Every time you're off the field, it's easy for you because you're just like, oh, in this situation, I could have done this, or like, oh,
Yeah,
different. But obviously, when you get on the field, it's much different. And so you can't really understand it when you're off the field. Um, but it is tough because you want to be on the field at all times. Because who knows, you might get a hat trick on this game, you can score. You don't know what could happen, but I just take it with a grain of salt and just move on to the next game.
for sure. How are you dealing with playing with no fans?
It is weird. I'm not gonna lie, because all I hear is just screaming on the field.
Yeah,
Like the coach is just screaming at us, but it is. Lately or just this last game, they started allowing the players to invite two people to the game. So I invited my mom and my younger brother, but it is weird. Usually we have it at home, we have all the fans and they're all cheering us on and supporting us, but I mean it's just different after that.
are they doing the same thing at other grounds in terms of like you can invite like a couple people, or is it still empty?
In Oklahoma, OKC Energy, they had fans, but obviously it was they had, I don't know if it was like 30% of fans, or I don't know what it was. They definitely had fans at the game, and Tulsa as well. So in Oklahoma, they're allowing fans in. Over here in Texas, for sure we're not allowing anybody in yet. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Are opening it up.
okay. This one's always a trick one, especially for the younger players I ask. If there was anything in your career so far that you could change, what would it be? If anything, just one thing.
Damn, I could change. Um, I don't know. Probably. I don't know if there's something I would change because obviously everything that I've done has led me up to the position I'm in now. Um, One thing, honestly, probably just I don't know. There's nothing. Because I wouldn't. Because if I change something, what would I still be in the same position I'm now, or
Well,
you just
it's just for the fun of it. Like, I think what
oh
do you call it? I talked to Josh, and he was
yeah
like, Josh has had a couple of injuries. He was like, yeah, like maybe I'll change like this injury and not have it. You know what I mean, or something like that.
oh yeah true. Okay, I say yeah. I changed obviously an injury I suffered last season because that really held me back. I think for a while. I think I was out for 3 months.
Yeah.
That was tough because the day I got injured the day before we had a game, and I was starting too. So everything was going good, and so I ended up getting injured, and then they ended up telling me I'm out for 3 months, which was tough. So I definitely changed that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. What? So what? Are we a Nike athlete now? What's going on?
Yeah, bro.
He said, "Yeah, bro." Nah,
Nah,
congrats, man.
thank you, man. Nah, it was after. Honestly, it was all after the FC Dallas game. That was really big for me. That's because that's when the national team came along, and then the Nike contract came along. So that was huge for me.
That's good. How did you feel? And who did you tell first when you got that?
Who did I tell first? Oh, well, obviously my family, but I went straight to my friends, and I was like, bro, like I just got a Nike contract. I just signed a Nike contract, and they're like, bro, you got to give me some stuff. I'm like, that's the first thing. Like, not even like congrats, bro. He's like, bro, hook me up with some like clothes or something. And I
Damn,
was, yeah.
that's so funny, man. Last question. If you've got any advice for any young players that coming up, obviously you're young anyway. So, but you're experiencing everything real time. If you had any
Mhm.
advice to give, like someone who's aspiring to be a professional footballer, what would you say to them?
Uh, I'd say just stay humble and as cheesy as it sounds, just work hard. Because and enjoy. And if you, whenever when opportunity comes along, take advantage of it because you don't know how many opportunities you're gonna get. So just be prepared for that, and work hard every time. If people are saying something, just like I said, just brush it off and work on yourself.
No, for sure, man. I'm proper proud of you, man. From seeing you from the first day to where you are now, and obviously elevating more and more. It's amazing to see in it. So, congrats to
Thank you.
you, and obviously many more things to come in it.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, bro.
No, no, no. Thank you for your time, bro.